Retirement. Pero si apenas tengo 26 años, like that is years away from now. Why think about it? In this video, we're going to be talking about retirement accounts. Retirement sounds so far away. For most of us, especially those in our late 20s, early 30s, we're like, I have decades before I hit retirement. Why should I be thinking about this now? But it is something you should be thinking about right now while you have time on your side, while you have decades to grow your wealth and really ensure that future you is set up properly to retire. I will be breaking down what it means to save for retirement, and I put save in quotes because in reality you are investing for your retirement because your money is in investments. And I will be sharing the different accounts that you can open up based on, what your situation is. Before I start though, let's look at the state of retirement in the US. Something I remember very clearly on my 1 hour, almost 2 hour commute home back and forth from the city were these prudential signs. They were all over the highway that said things like, people spend more time planning for vacations than they do planning for retirement. And I thought these ads were like super smart. They caught my attention. It made me think, oh, how much time am I spending planning for retirement? Am I spending enough time, more so than what I am spending planning for a vacation? Is that true for me? And there were different billboards around with different quotes, but I think it speaks to where we are as a country in terms of retirement. One statistic that I want to share is a report from Northwestern Mutual's 2019 Planning and Progress Study, in which it says that 22% of Americans have less than $5,000 for retirement savings, and another 5% have between $5,000 and $25,000 in their retirement savings, whereas only 16% have more than $200,000. So I can relate to this. I think at least in my community, I feel like I hear a lot of people saying like, I'm just gonna retire and get Social Security benefits. And please raise your hand if you've heard this in your family or in your community where people are relying on Social Security to help us through retirement. And while I think that might have been true in the past, the conversations that we've been hearing about Social Security now is that it might not exist for us. So how do we make sure that we are preparing ourselves to retire and not hoping that Social Security is there for us when we need it? And even if it is, that's not going to be enough to sustain the lifestyle I want to live. Is it going to be enough to sustain the lifestyle you want to live? These are things that you should be thinking about now. Let's get to the basics. Retirement simply means the time when you stop full-time, part-time, working for money, when you can say, all right, I have enough savings to no longer need a paycheck from an employer for the rest of my life. So I want to say typically the national retirement age, I don't know if it's an official age, but it's like 62 to 65, 67 is like the oldest that I've seen be like the retirement age. Why retire? Yes, we all know you love your job, but can you realistically see yourself going in and hopping into Zoom at 95 and taking a conference call? Probably not. The reality is we're all going to want to cut back on work at some point in our lives. So we need to think about what that is going to mean for us financially. So how should you think about retirement? I'm going to use an example for this. So this water bottle here, the water bottle, is your account. So this could be your 401k, your Roth IRA, traditional IRA, all of the different accounts that exist. The liquid that you have in the water bottle are your different investments. Stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, all of the stuff that makes up your retirement account. In this video, I will be showing you the different water bottles or accounts that you can open up. First up, the famous 401k. This is an employee-sponsored retirement account, which means that not all companies and employers have them available for their employees. For example, if you join a very early age startup, then most likely they're not going to have a 401k to offer. If your company doesn't offer it right now, be persistent about asking for one. Make them aware that this is a great benefit to have for retention and for just hiring new talent and great talent. If you're not sure if your company has a 401k, go to HR, ask them. And if you work at a nonprofit or a government institution, this might be called a 403B. So just be aware of that. In essence, a 401k and 403B accounts allow you to contribute pre-tax dollars towards your retirement. And what does this mean? This means that you are able to decrease your taxable income. So whatever tax rate you're in could change depending on how much you put towards this account. The limit for contributions is $19,500 for 2020. Typically it increases. I think last year it just stayed the same, or no, it might have increased $500. So it might change in 2021 depending on when you're watching this video, but in 2020 it is $19,500. Because it is a pre-tax account, that means that you don't pay taxes when you're depositing into the account. When you withdraw from the account at whatever point in your retirement, you will be paying taxes on that money. Because a 401k or a 403b are employee sponsored, it'll be different for every employer that you have. So depending on when you switch jobs, you might need to roll that 401k over to make sure that you still can keep contributing to the same one. Some people decide to just have different 401ks and just don't touch it and leave it there to sit, but probably the best thing for you to do is to roll it over into the new employer sponsored account that you have. If you're employed, but your employer doesn't have a sponsored retirement account for you to access, or you're self-employed, then you can always open up an individual retirement account or an IRA. There are two different IRA accounts. There's a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. The biggest difference between these two is the pre-tax, post-tax dollars that you're contributing to those. So for the traditional IRA, this is probably most similar to your 401k, 403b in that you are contributing pre-tax dollars. So this is, again, the money that you make before tax, which means that when you withdraw the money, you will be taxed on it. Whereas with a Roth IRA, you are contributing post-tax dollars. And this means that the money that you get from your direct deposit is money that you can use for your Roth IRA. The contribution limit for both of the accounts together is $6,000. So what that means is that if you put $6,000 in a traditional IRA, you can't put $6,000 in a Roth IRA. You'd have to put $3,000 in one, $3,000 in the other to total a contribution of $6,000. Of course, you can play around with those totals. That was just an example, but the most that you can contribute to both accounts in the same year is $6,000. If you are aiming to max out your Roth or traditional IRA, that'll look like $500 every month. So $250 each paycheck. One thing to note here is that you have until the following tax deadline to max out these accounts, right? So you can decide to contribute to your account in July and say, oh, well, I missed the other 6 months before this. But you do have until April, typically April 15th, our tax deadline to make those contributions for that year before. If you're self-employed, there are also options available for you. So like I mentioned, your traditional Roth IRA, you can also contribute to that. You can open an IRA, but there's also something called a solo 401k. This is for somebody who doesn't have any employees, which allows you to contribute up to $57,000 in 2020 or 100% of your earned income, whichever number is less. Like with your 401k, this is pre-tax dollars that you're putting into it, right? So you won't be taxed on it right now, but when you retire in 30 whatever years, that is when you will be taxed on it every time you withdraw. There is something called a SEP IRA, and this is great if you have a small business with a few employees or no employees, and it allows you to contribute up to 25% of your salary with a maximum contribution of $57,000 in 2020. Again, this is taxed upon withdrawing that money in retirement. Then there is the simple IRA. This is for a larger business. So if you run a company that has up to 100 employees, this is an option for you. With a simple IRA, you can contribute up to $13,500 in 2020. And again, this is all pre-tax, so any money that you put in there will not be taxed until you withdraw it at retirement. So those are the list of retirement accounts that you are able to open up depending on where you are in your life. But let me share with you what I do and how I think about in terms of retirement. So when I first started working at my organization, we did not have a 401k. So for the first two years of my professional career, I did not have a retirement account, but the first retirement account that I did open was a Roth IRA because I realized I need to start investing even if I don't have an employee-sponsored account. I need to put money in for retirement. So I opened a Roth IRA and I started contributing my post-tax money. Once my organization got a 401k, I was able to put money into a 401k, and I'm still contributing to both. So what I was thinking about was I need to have tax diversification, right? I need to have my account with my Roth IRA because this is post-tax money, and when I withdraw that money at retirement, I won't need to be taxed on it again. Hopefully. I don't know if the laws will change. If they do, I'm sure a lot of people are going to go crazy about it. So it probably won't happen. But my assumption, my safe assumption now is that when I withdraw the money, it will not be taxed. But I also wanted to contribute to a 401k because I want to diversify the taxes that I'm paying, right? So I'll pay some taxes here, but I also want to not pay taxes on a certain amount of money. And typically what people will say is contribute up to your employer match. But if your employee doesn't offer a match, which a lot of companies don't, then contribute up until what you can, right? My goal has been to max out my Roth IRA and contribute what I can to my 401k. And think about it that way, because even if I don't get a match, I still want to contribute to a 401k because it's a huge limit, right? Like $19,500 a year to contribute pre-tax. Like if I was maxing that out, I could potentially lower my tax bracket and help myself out in the long run. So invest up to your match or up to whatever you feel comfortable doing, even if your employer doesn't have a match. So now that I've kind of talked through the different accounts that exist, I'm telling you what my strategy is. I want to show you how you can figure out how much you'll have in retirement, how to save for getting that 1 million, what that really looks like. And I'm going to use my age. I'm going to make up an income, but follow me over to the computer and let's show you how you can calculate your own retirement. All right, so let's say, okay, so I just typed in Google retirement calculator and I picked this one, which is from Smart Asset, and it still has the information that I did earlier. So why don't we see if we want to update any of these numbers. So Brooklyn is the location you're retiring at, or maybe it's the desired location, yes, of residency, okay, where you hope to live upon retiring. Annual income, let's say you make 60K. You want to retire at 65 and you're saving about $700 a month. So that could be $500 in your Roth, $300 in your 401k. We can make this a little more if you think that would be. You can fix this around to see like how much makes sense for you to save. Your annual retirement expenses, $40K you hope to spend a year. You were born in 93. Do you have anything in your 401k right now? We can change that to like $100. Let's just say we have something. Do you have anything in a IRA account? Let's just say $100 here as well. Do we have a pension? Nope. Include Social Security? Yes. Are you single, married? Saving details. So do you have any savings right now? We can say you have 10K. All right, we can say that's 4% if we're thinking about including our retirement accounts. Let's see what that gives us. Congratulations, you are on track to meet your retirement goals. Cool. I can retire at 66. I will need at least 900 to retire. 900,000. That seems low for New York City. All right, let's see what they're looking at here. So your annual post-tax income at retirement, you will need retirement savings over time. How much money do you need to retire? These are the assumptions that it's making. This is what they think that the tax rate is going to be. Who knows what it really will be about this answer. To figure out how much you need to save for retirement, we first must calculate how much money we can expect. Okay, so you can look through this. I will add a link to this calculator so you can try to move around some numbers based on what your actual numbers look like. So lifespan, this is assuming that we will live till 95. Who knows, we might live till 195 by the time that we get to retirement age. Retirement accounts, we automatically distribute your savings optimally among different retirement accounts. Cool. Taxes, they are making assumptions here. Social Security, return on savings, our retirement experts. So these are things that you're going to want to read after you do your own calculations. Starting early. Oh, it gives you a why you should start early. Because you got time on your side, friends. So I will send a link to this. I think this is really, really helpful because it gives you kind of an idea of, oh, look, you can retire here and get more money and make your money go further. I want to see if there's anything on the return on investment. Okay, so after thinking it over, you decided that it would be okay. Assuming a rate of return on investment out 4%, you would have saved about, in a row. So this is really helpful. And I think you should do a little retirement calculation on where you're currently saving and what that means for what you have in the future. There's also a NerdWallet one. So it's possible to actually retire a millionaire. I think with time on your side, you definitely have that opportunity. As a reminder, I am not a financial advisor, so please make sure that you speak to one if you are thinking about your specific portfolio, if you have any questions on exactly where you should be investing. I only create these videos to spread awareness, to let you know that these exist and that you should be thinking about them. So let me know if you liked the video. If you did, please consider subscribing and share your comments in the comment section. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.